Hey, you're tuned in to Live at 5. And before we jump into today's guest, I just want to remind you that this show is only possible because of the generosity and support of amazing people like you. Continue to support us by subscribing to this YouTube channel, clicking the link to donations and merchandise in the bio below, and by spreading the word about our shows. Thanks again, and enjoy. Hey there, and welcome to Live at 5 on this rainy afternoon. It's I think it's the first rainy day of our podcast, which has been going for about 23 episodes now. So that's a pretty good London record. And as usual, we're joined by our steadfast and tech-hungry producer, Darcy O'Connor in Clapton. Looking good, Darce.
Feeling good, Giacomo. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How's your day been? Have you had your one walk yet?
I haven't had my walk, and I think I might have lost my chance now with this rain coming in. So I'm just going to pace around my apartment like about 600 to 700 times after this and see how we go.
But you did have a special delivery today. Do you want to tell people about that?
Yeah, I got a Nintendo delivered.
It's like guilty 8-year-old voice.
Like, yeah.
Cool Uncle Brian gave me a Nintendo. Please don't take it away. Oh man, that's so great. That's so great. Fun. And yeah. So does it have all the classic old games like the I don't even know how, if you're old enough to know Duck Hunt and like
I know Duck Hunt.
Stuff,
yeah, no. You
Mario
can well, yeah, it's got Mario, so the great thing about it is you can get like all those old games put onto the new system, so you can just carry it around the house, put it on the TV, all that sort of stuff.
Well, for all of those who are interested in why we were discussing that, we will be going for a Nintendo endorsement as we continue with the podcast. So thanks for bearing with us on that. But we're not here to talk about video games. We're here to talk about a concert that we're going to play for you shortly. But actually, before we do that, since it's Friday and since we have a man in the field who's he's currently in the wilderness in New Zealand, and he's foraged a number of botanicals, and you'll once you see him, you'll realize that he's just that outdoors man type. And his name's Honey Bolton, and he's got a drink for us to learn how to make, which we suggest that you, when the music starts, since we don't have a video for the music today, we suggest you make a note of his instructions for this old-fashioned recipe, and you can make yourself one while we're playing the music. So anyway, check out this segment. This is, what are we calling this, Darce? Tipple?
Time for a tipple.
Time for a tipple with Honey Bolton.
Welcome to the kitchen, where I'm going to be showing you how to make an old-fashioned with basically whatever you have in your pantry. So first of all, we're going to be starting off with your bourbon, whatever you've got in the pantry. You can also use rum or scotch if you like. Today I have Heaven Hill old style Kentucky bourbon. We're going to need 2 ounces of that, which is this egg cup, about 60 ml, and I'm just going to be making it in this milk jug right here because I don't have a mixing glass. $60 ml, 3 or 4 dashes of Angostura bitters, and then about 5 to 7 ml, depending on how sweet you like it, of Demerara syrup. So this is just 2 parts sugar to 1 part water, done in a pot on the stove. So I don't like mine too sweet, so I'm going to go 5 ml. Set that aside. That's all the ingredients we need. Now we're going to be stirring it down. Add some ice in there. Excuse the fingers. Stir it down for about 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Give it a quick taste. Perfect. So you want to have been chilling a glass, got one in the fridge. I'm going to strain that out because we don't want the old ice. Strain it out into your chilled glass. Add a couple more rocks in the glass. And now, normally you would want an orange zest on this one, but all I have are mandarins, so they work perfectly as well. So you want to get the outside, zest the oils in there, rub it around the rim, get that nice mandarin flavor around there, roll it up, tuck it in the glass, and you're ready to go. Cheers.
And we're back. We hope that that you got all that, and if you didn't, you can always watch all of the Live at 5 episodes back on our YouTube channel. Just be sure to subscribe. And as I was saying before, we have a cool concert to play for you today. That you know, it's great to have a forum to put these things out, because otherwise they just live on my computer for years and years and years, and I'll listen to them once a year and think, oh, well, I shouldn't throw that away. That's decent. Maybe I'll do something with it at some point. And now there's a reason to do something. So we appreciate you being our audience and sharing these things with us. And this one is a special one for me because I got to play with two of the people that I really respect on the London music scene. And that's Kit Downs, who's a pianist and organist, and Tom Farmer, who's a great double bassist. And we were kind of, you know, I've said it before on the show that my clarinet hero was a guy called Jimmy Giuffre, who actually only died about 10 years ago. He was around for a long time, but he kept a really low profile. He was primarily an educator in the kind of second part of his career. Partially, I think, because he was pretty shy and didn't really kind of do the show business part of performing very well. And I think that's why his output was so appealing to me, because he really kind of focused, 100% on the music. And he had a lot of really strong opinions about what instruments went in his band. So he didn't like playing with drummers. He didn't like just, jamming tunes. He was one of these guys that kind of thought of himself in the third stream, which was the term coined by people like Gunther Schuller, if that name means anything to you. There was kind of like a melding of classical music composition techniques with jazz improvisation. Leonard Bernstein was kind of one of the biggest people in that scene from the classical side. And Jimmy Giuffre was doing this kind of stuff in the 50s, and he was writing a lot of music written down. And I have one record of his called Tangents in Jazz. That's a traditional jazz band with a drummer and a bass player. But what he's done is he's written all of the parts for the drummer. And that's a totally weird thing for a small group, that you've written all of the parts out for the drummer. Now, unfortunately, it's horrible to listen to, and it's a really, it's not a melodic record at all. But it's great that he had this strength of concept. Now, the thing that I think he did the best was he put together these bands that he called the Jimmy Giuffre Three. And the three were always kind of different lineups, but he usually had guitar and he usually had bass. He never had drums, and he never had a second kind of soprano horn. He had valve trombone at one point. But the last incarnation of that band was piano, Paul Bley, and bass was played by Steve Swallow, but he was playing upright bass. Now, Steve Swallow, for those jazz fans out there, will know that he hasn't touched a double bass since about 1965. He's only an electric player. So to hear him play double bass with Jimmy Giuffre was like a total eye-opener for me, and an amazing thing. So we kind of focused on that last incarnation of the band. And we got into a lot of his music, and we used it as a springboard to kind of take, you know, some of his ideas of improvising into our, you know, into our performance. And I was just talking to Darcy about this show, and you were saying that it kind of has like you can feel that it had an atmosphere, right? That the music was going somewhere, right? It was one of those.
Definitely.
What were you saying about it?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Like it's, I mean, since you introduced me to Jimmy Giuffre, I've become a big fan. I'm a particular fan of his record, The Western Suite, where it's, you know, music inspired by country and, well, not even country music, like Western music, you know, even from a cinematic perspective. But yeah, this is like such a, because I haven't heard the Jimmy Giuffre stuff that was with piano. I've only heard the era with like Bob Brookmeyer on trombone.
Right.
But
well, now that first track and what you say is really great, because he had a huge, you know, it's funny that he kind of hung out with these guys who were into classical music, because like you said, you know, his jazz music was so shaped by kind of old time American music. And in the same way that Aaron Copland, you know, takes all these themes from, you know, I'll say country music, but I don't mean country Western music. No. I mean, you know, bluegrass and old time.
Yeah.
And kind of traditional Appalachian melodies and all of that stuff that's really the foundation of, you know, a lot of American music. And he would take them and he would just use them as like a jazz head. So, you know, you were humming that Train in the River, and oops, I hope that's okay. And so he would play, the melody of the song is you know, and that's it. That's the whole melody. You know, so after they played that, and you'll hear us, it's the first tune on the thing, you know, they played and that whole thing is the whole basis for the rest of the song. And it's funny because that's his most popular song, but he's only really written about 15 seconds of music, you know? And so I think that's kind of a testament to his kind of particular genius as a band leader, you know?
I mean, I'd love to learn a little bit more about Jimmy after the concert. So why don't we jump into the music? We'll have a listen to it, and then we can discuss it a bit more.
So you are listening to Live at 5. Please remember that it makes a big difference to us if you can subscribe to this YouTube channel, and also remember to share around the link in the bio and even click it yourself, because there's some good stuff in there. And once again, this is a concert featuring Kit Downs, Tom Farmer, and myself from the Soho Theater in July 2019. This is Trav'lin Light. Thank you very much.
Kit Downs on the piano. Kit Downs on the piano, Tom Farmer on the bass. My name is Giacomo Smith. We're Trav'lin Light.
And we're back live at 5. We hope you enjoyed that little snippet of that concert. We'll be playing the second half tomorrow night at 5, and there's some more tunes in there. I just want to clarify what the songs were in that set. There were just 4, and it was the Train in the River, if you want to look them up later. Train in the River, Duke Ellington's Sound of Love by Charles Mingus. What was the third one, Darce? It was Red Planet. Red Planet by John Coltrane. And the fourth one was Nobody Else But Me, which is actually, is it Jerome Kern?
You're asking the wrong bloke, mate.
It's his last song, if it's Jerome Kern. I'm sorry, the fact-checking department hasn't shown up for work today. We don't know why. So we were talking about, the kind of the different
Kern.
Instruments. Jerome Kern.
Yeah,
last song he ever wrote, and it was a good one. Not to mention the other good ones that he did. You were asking me about, are you playing bass clarinet on that? Are you playing, what are you playing on that? And the reason for that is that Jimmy Giuffre was a multi-instrumentalist as well, and I suppose this is where some of his, kind of classical influence comes in, is that he would change instrument based on what he thought the song needed. So if you listen to his version of Train in the River, he starts off with baritone saxophone, and then he moves to clarinet, and then he moves to tenor saxophone. And you kind of get this journey throughout the song. And if you weren't watching a video of him playing, then you would kind of think that maybe there were other people there. And it kind of has this, Davy Crockett effect of, wow, there's so many sounds in this recording. So I was using bass clarinet on that Duke Ellington Sound of Love. And another thing that Darcy and I have been discussing is that Duke Ellington's Sound of Love is, as I said before, a Charles Mingus song. But since it's so Ellingtonian in its composition, we were discussing kind of the influences of one on the other. And I think, Duke Ellington is the predecessor to a lot of what Mingus did. And actually Mingus played in Duke Ellington's band on a record called Money Jungle.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, if that was, I think that'll be our record of the day, which we'll put on some tracks from on our Live at 5 playlist. But a lot of what Mingus did compositionally came from Ellington's innovations, and so I think of that song as kind of a tribute to Ellington. It's from the kind of mid-70s period of Mingus, when he was towards the end of his career. So yeah, I think, Darcy, do we have any shout outs in the chat?
We've just got some love coming in for the triple tutorial.
The triple tutorial
from
thanks a lot
from Laura Ozani. Thank you, Laura. We'll be bringing those every Friday. Hopefully, if we can track down our man in the field every week. We've got
Man of the Woods.
Man of the Woods. We've got Tyler Rindo, Serena Rizzo, Noki Januar. Thank you very much.
T Rindo, glad you're feeling better, man.
Yeah, good.
Very glad about that.
Good to have you back on the channel, T Rindo. So do you want to give us a little bit of an insight, G, as to what we might hear in the second set tomorrow?
Yeah, sure. So the second set, I kind of curated them. This wasn't the play order that we did on the gig, but I kind of put them in a good order for two halves. The second one starts with the Swamp People, which we played on an earlier show. And it has this kind of ostinato repeated rhythm from Tom, where Tom's really kind of laying down this repetitive bass line. And it sounds once again like that kind of American roots, Appalachian influence stuff from Jimmy Giuffre, but it's really just a kind of a fundamental blues form. And then we'll play Poinciana, which is that great Ahmad Jamal track. And then one of my favorite tunes from that second set is one called Trudgin', that's from Jimmy Giuffre's album. And it was one of the ones on the gig where I really felt like we experimented. We really kind of, it was an hour into the gig and everybody felt warmed up and things kind of just let loose. So that's tomorrow. Amazing. And we hope you'll join us for that.
So give us a reminder what the record of the day was. I think I might have sourced an image. Let's see how this goes.
Oh, Darcy O'Connor, the Quicksilver. This is Money Jungle, the record of the day, right there. And we'll be putting some of those tracks on our Live at 5 playlist. You can find that in the link in our bio. So just have a click through that. And once again, you've been listening to Live at 5, and remember to subscribe to us, and have a great Friday evening, and we hope to see you tomorrow night. Thank you so much. See you soon.
Thanks again for listening to Live at 5. Remember to subscribe to this channel and click on the link in the description to see where you can donate, sign up for a Smitty's membership, or buy our records and merch. See you tomorrow. Thanks again.